Hey, it's Nono here, and today I'm gonna go through just playing with Descript. Descript is a fairly new app that is actually working as a desktop app that you can use to edit audio through editing the transcripts. And I don't know, there's a lot of other features like automatic transcript generation and something called overdub that lets you synthesize your voice and then write new words and then have those words added to your audio. Descript, as far as I know, has been a company that got $20 million in investment from Andresen Horovsky. I don't really know how to pronounce that name. And he is, a big investor in Silicon Valley, has invested in companies like Slack, Skype, DigitalOcean, and many, many others. I would say dozens at least, or hundreds. So just to get started, Descript is this tool. And it's a desktop app built with Electron that I'm intending to use as my new tool to edit the Getting Simple podcast. So I recently, just this morning, I paid my $14 to become a producer. That's their first pricing tier, where you get 10 hours of audio transcription and a lot of really good features, right? What you can see here on the interface is that we have Insisting Simplicity and podcast tutorials. These are two Descript projects that I have created. Well, the podcast tutorial is just a set of sample or walkthrough sessions, or I don't know how these are called yet, but compositions, I think. So you can add a new composition here that come to explain the basic features and how to use the program. If we go here into Insisting Simplicity, this is a interview that I have to edit for this month's Getting Simple interview episode, and I've already added two compositions. So you can see interview test that I've already dragged some files, and interview full. Interview full is empty, and that's the one that we're going to use right now. So I have two files, so that's track one and left right. One is my voice, so Nono, and then the other one is JR. So that's my guest on the Insisting Simplicity episode. I cropped those files to 70 minutes, as you can see here. So these two, test JR, test Nono, and made what's called a multi-track sequence, I think. So if you click on multiple tracks, you can create a multi-track sequence, and you'll get something like this. Similar to the multi-track session in Audition, or Adobe Audition if you're familiar with it, where you get both tracks side by side, and you can not only see the audio waves but also the transcribed words. You can see these are green. I think that means that they have already processed properly, and these two are not green yet. I haven't really transcribed them. To transcribe, I clicked on the file and clicked transcribe. This is already been transcribed, but let's go ahead and here in Nono file, so let's go to transcribe file. Once I click, I get this menu here on the bottom that lets me select if I want to detect multiple speakers, create a composition out of it or not. You also get options to import a transcript in case that you have that transcript from some other source. I, for instance, have an Otter.ai account, and in the future, when I run out of minutes to transcribe, I might be able to import from there. Let's just click on there to see. So I already have a transcript, sync it, create composition. Yeah, I don't really know. Copy paste the transcript to sync with the audio file. Formatting tips. Yeah, so I'll probably take a look at this later on, but that's an option, right? The second option that they offer in here, apart from importing your own transcript, is to transcribe using an external service. So in this case, they offer White Glove that will send $2 per minute of audio because there's human powered transcription, so it's made sure that it's more accurate. So this file will cost $268. Don't want to go for that. What we get for free is an automatic transcription. So I'm not going to select any of these options. I'm just going to click on, and yeah, sorry, I see that I'm on top of this menu. So let's just hide myself for a second. So here, what you can see is that I'm just gonna select the automatic option and go for transcribe. So that, that's gonna get your transcribe will be ready within a few minutes. So that will get a transcribe on the cloud. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with JR's track. So that's the guest track. So we just click on transcribe. We'll use 4 hours and a half of my 10-hour limit, or monthly limit. But, I think that might be enough, at least for me at the beginning, to edit 1 or 2 interviews per month if I follow the same process. One thing that I like is that I added these 2 files completely raw, so I didn't edit them yet. And there is an option here where you can replace the file choosing a file, and they warn you that you need to select a file that with non-identical content could damage your project. So you need to upload a file that has the same length and the same content, so the transcript matches and everything matches on the file. For me, I would just edit the levels and the compression and pass some filters on Adobe Audition, export the track with the same length, same everything, and then just replace it here. I haven't tried that, but I would expect that that's how it works. So I'm gonna go ahead now and right click on these 2 and say create multi-track sequence. So you can see here I had the Nono and JR test. This is gonna be called Nono and JR full. So this is supposed to be the full interview. So we're gonna get, this is gonna get maybe a bit slow. It's like a long interview. And as you can see here, we have a back and forth conversation where I do questions and maybe comment on some things, and it's JR who develops ideas a bit more. This is a multi-track, and what we had here were compositions. So I showed before that I have this composition that is already edited in some way. I was trying before some of the features. You can see how if you right click on the audio and the filler worlds, right, ignore all, 55 filler worlds in composition were ignored. These words here, so the filler words, you can ignore them or delete them, right? So if you delete them, you will see them as crossed off. That means that we've saved time from manually going and removing those words from the audio WAV file. We don't really know where they are if we don't have the transcript, but in this way, it not only gets deleted automatically, but we can see where they are and also see the places where it is and how it sounds, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get my headphones so I hear the same that you might be hearing, and I'm going to for instance going to here, right, and we can press tab.
Mr. Money Mustache, or MMM, and he began writing under that pseudonym, but over time people figured it out. So I'm not necessarily hiding behind the curtain. I'm just not necessarily revealing
you see
everything, right?
You see in here, right, we have 2 justs and an but the got deleted, right? So if I do this,
I'm just not necessarily.
So the just skips skips this so I can go ahead here and click on delete and also delete that comma, and now
curtain. I'm just not necessarily revealing everything right up front.
Right, so what we've done is that we've removed a word from the transcript and it deletes automatically from the audio. So you can see when I select something here on the text, you can see that it gets selected down here on the audio as well. And I can remove all that part of text and then play in English in some way. I've mentioned this in other episodes, right? So yeah, that's one of the really nice features. There are more features, but let's see. What we would like to do once we have this interview in full is that we can drag and drop our multi-track sequence, right? And this right now is just a full sequence that won't get expanded as text until the the audio has been transcribed completely. So we're gonna have to wait. I don't really know how long that will take, but maybe, you know, if we go here into transcription activity, so these two, yeah, it doesn't really show anything yet there. Let's see if we go into here, right? So we're already getting partial transcription. If we play here, all right, we should have a backup recording now. So this is Nono here, and we're gonna record an interview with Insisting Simplicity. That's JR, his secret nickname online. All right, so you know, that seems like it's starting to get there. So we got the transcript is getting created. Let's see where we're at. So there's a sliding thing here. Yeah, it seems like we're fairly advanced. Yeah, it seems like we're there. So while we were looking and we were looking at other things, it seems like these got transcribed properly. So let me see if I delete this from here and add the multitrack again. Okay, once the transcript has been fully transcribed, right, the audio files, we can drag and drop again, and instead of getting a sound audio track, we can go through the entire interview and visualize different parts of it. You can see that for my track, it just put the name of the audio file, but I can just put my name here. And for his track, he just put the name of his audio track. So let's see. Doesn't seem like it's letting me edit the name properly. So okay, one thing, I can double click into this session and just change these names here. Right, I'm going to delete this composition and I'm gonna make it from scratch again. So this is my new composition. I just call it the same. So interview in full, and I once again drag and drop that file. All right, we should have a backup recording now. Right, so you know, here I have the interview. There is something wrong here with the with the names of the speakers that I can't really get to to change. I don't know why. All right. That seems to be it. So this is Nono and this is JR. And we're just gonna merge those two. And we're gonna merge these two. Okay, so as you can see, now I have the audio here, and I can delete because this is not part of the interview. This is the beginning. So here. Hey, it's Nono, and this is the Getting Simple podcast. Before we get started, I'd like so I can go here and delete that part, so that will make silence, so you won't hear me breathing. And here, so I just clicked on Command E to change from edit media to correct text. Once I do that, I can freely go here and edit the transcript, hopefully. Yeah, so I can edit this is going a bit slow while I'm recording and I'm sharing screen and I'm trying to edit audio. This is, it's a desktop app, which makes it faster than running in the browser, but it's actually running in Electron, which is a way to do cross-platform applications using Chromium. That is the guts of Google Chrome and other browsers. Well, let's keep going. So I can change to edit media. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that you can find a detailed list of episode notes, transcripts, and past episodes at gettingsimple.com. Okay, there you see that was transcribed wrong, so I can select on text editing mode, and you can listen episodes at gettingsimple.com, and that you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Overcast. I'm also starting to upload learning videos to YouTube to teach how the way in which I do things, and we'll start live streaming. All right, so there you see I'm also starting to upload videos, blah, blah, blah. So I can get this part, delete it. So now it seems like the edits I did to the transcript are trying to get realigned with the text, so I cannot delete directly here until now that it seems like the changes in transcript got processed. YouTube and Overcast. I'm also starting to upload learning videos to YouTube to teach the way in which I do things, and we'll start live streaming in the near future. Covering topics from computational design and creative coding to design automation, machine learning, workflow optimization, or even how I make this podcast. We'll start live streaming in the near future, covering topics from computational design and creative coding to design automation, machine learning, workflow optimization, or even how I make this podcast. You can find these videos if you go to gettingsimple.com/YouTube and gettingsimple.com/YouTube and look for my learning playlist. Right. Let's call. All right, so now I have a part of the text that was just me calling him. So let's see. Let's call. I opened Google Voice and called JR. And then we had a bit of a chit chat just to make sure that we were on the same track, recorded a background noise track. So things that don't need to have on the to be in the interview.
Hey.
Can you hear me? All right, so these things, I can go and simply go here. All these parts, I can see what parts are not necessary. So I'm pretty sure it was here where I say hi everyone. So that's 5 minutes and 40 seconds of audio that I didn't really have to listen. So I just go here, I just put it there, and we're ready to continue editing. So hi everyone, it's Nono here. We have JR with us today from Insist. One thing that's really cool is that it seems that Descript learned from my previous editing of this podcast. So I edited this in a separate, as I said, in those test files and the Nono in JR test session or composition. So it got Nono right here automatically. You see now the JRs are not properly there. So I'm going to have to, edit them manually like these ones. And these are things that I corrected before. So I know what parts are wrong. Insisting, simplicity, heap build. All right, so let's listen again. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. We have JR with us today from Insisting Simplicity. Hi JR, how are you doing today? All right, so more things are wrong here, right? So we have, so this, I can do this, I can ignore so right? So I do that. We have JR with us today from Insisting Simplicity. Right, so we've skipped this right, this part where I wasn't eloquent enough, and we just got it out of the equation, so I don't have to go into the audio wave and edit. Look at this. We have JR with us today from. So that changes everything. That changes my workflow, that changes the program I can use to edit, that changes the time I spend editing. And I'm just gonna go quickly and edit this thing here. Insisting simplicity. Hi JR. once more. Hi everyone, it's Nono here. We have JR with us today from Insisting Simplicity. Hi JR, how are you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
All right, so here, we have a longer silence that maybe we would like to, so let's see.
I am great.
You see that gray part? So these gray parts are parts that Descript already recognizes as non-voice. So other crackling, let's see here.
How are you?
I'm good. Well, this is a laugh, can be interpreted maybe like cough or something that we don't want. I can go into this sequence, so multitrack sequence, by clicking Command-Shift-O on Mac and playing that.
I am great.
And I can, as I would do in any other program, I can do delete, and then that will sound like that.
I am great.
So we can now go back outside of this multitrack sequence, and I can play here. Doing today?
I am great. How are you?
And I can also delete some part of that, so the silence is a bit shorter. Doing today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here in Spain, recording remotely. So we can also see, there was something on my track here.
How are you?
I can remove that as well. Recording remotely with JR, and JR writes in 16. I'm expecting to learn more about your work, and from permaculture to financial independence and many other topics. All right, so all of that stuff so all of these ums and us, I can say ignore all. So take a look. So I have here all these parts, right? Spain, recording remotely with JR, and thanks. This is an awesome opportunity for us to connect today.
Sure. Big question, so I'll give the kind of a shorter version. I grew up in...
Right, we can right click here and go to filler words, ignore all. So once we do this, let's just zoom out. This is gonna go through the whole audio transcript and find those filler words that were highlighted, right? Like they were underlined as being filler words. And we removed 516 filler words in a matter of 10 or 15 seconds. So let's hear this again. Here in Spain, recording remotely with JR, and JR writes Insisting Simplicity, range from permaculture to financial independence and many other topics. No, thanks. This is an awesome opportunity for us to connect. I'd love for you to today.
Sure. Big question, so I'll give the kind of a shorter version. I grew up in rural Massachusetts. Flash forward to more professional career. For the majority of my career, I've been in the financial sector, and most recently in private wealth management. We connected a week after I voluntarily resigned from my most recent firm, right before the corona.
All right, so this is an overview of Descript. So I think it's awesome. I just tried it out, and in a matter of minutes, I could edit a podcast episode. I don't, this is not edited. I have to go through the whole thing and fix many things. But once I edit this transcript and choose what content needs to stay and what content needs to go, I can release this, and I can probably just export. I don't even know how to export yet, but I can download this as a high quality audio file, and I can export it to just to upload it to Apple Podcasts and to the website and Spotify and other places. There is more that you can do. So you can add music, you can do editing, like just moving words around in here and doing some other things. So yeah, I'm just gonna go play with this a bit more, and I hope this was a good overview that you learned a bit. I think this is really promising. In some way, the reflection that we need to think about is that this tool is actually going to make one person be able to edit a transcript, be the content editor, and also the audio editor of a full interview or any other sort of audio recording, right? I personally was, I was working with other people to edit audio and transcripts and things like that. Everything was spread around between different programs like Adobe Audition and Otter for transcripts and other things. And, I'm really hoping that this can simplify my workflow, maybe yours too, and make my podcast releasing a faster thing, that maybe I can release one episode every 2 weeks or more often. Okay, I just wanted to show you that today, and I thank you for watching. If you like this video and you would like to see more, you can click on any of those buttons that say subscribe, and make sure to turn on notifications so you know when I go live or when I release new videos. Leave any comments if you have any thoughts on other tools that are similar, or how you would be able to use Descript or other tools for your editing workflows, or just any thoughts that you have. And feel free to reach out to me at Nono ESP on YouTube or on Twitter, or by any other channels that you think that will make sense for you to reach out. Let's just play some
Coronavirus hit the United.
Not that one. So I'll just leave you with... Hey, it's Nono, and this is the Getting Simple podcast. Well, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.